Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Cove Club, the interview show where we talk to all actors, creatives of all sorts around every part of the industry. I am the Lion Founder, and in this episode, I am talking to probably the one guest I was fanboying about the most because of how good their game was, and that is Ms. Su Ling Chan.
Hello, everybody. Hi, thanks for having me here.
No problem. Where I know a lot of people would be trying to ask for your main credentials, but sadly, I only know of No Straight Roads. So if you could enlighten us all with your whole repertoire before we get into the questionnaires.
Um, okay, I do a lot of corporate reads and commercials, but I guess some known stuff is that I do Ying from BoBoiBoy, which is like a really famous cartoon in Southeast Asia. I do the English version of her voice in BoBoiBoy, BoBoiBoy Galaxy, and BoBoiBoy 1, the movie. I'm also the official dub for a couple of Disney cartoons and Cartoon Network cartoons in Malay. So I'm in like Shaolin Showdown, and a couple of others. I think those would be the bigger ones. I don't think anyone would probably be familiar with the rest of my other work.
Oh, okay.
hmm
That's still all interesting stuff, though. I didn't know that.
Yeah, a lot of regional stuff.
That's all still amazing.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah. So, ahead of time, my Twitter admin of Nick gave me the rundown. Who I know you're gonna be editing this episode for me, Nick. I already know I'm gonna limit the questions so I don't try to do the same thing I do in every other episode.
Which is?
Like how everyone that has seen this process so far, I get into this whole entire interview thing with people, and then all of a sudden we go into like this whole bonding session going off topic. And as much as I would love to do that, because I would love to make a new friend, I also have to be like, gotta rein it in, gotta rein it in.
I'm okay with it if you're okay with it. I'm okay with anything.
Okay. Let's see. First question on the docket, though. What kind of started your journey into the industry?
Ooh, okay. So okay, so two things. One, when I was a teenager, because okay, I'm fairly old. I'm 35. So when I say teenager, it was like 20 years ago. I was born and I was doing a lot of fan dubs in way back then in 1998 and 1997. And I actually know people and I reconnected with voice actors who I knew from back then, and they're kind of successful now. And I'm like, wow, look at us guys. We're all like doing stuff. So that's like all my amateur voice acting things. But I started it like, inculcated my love for voice acting way back then. And then so at that time I was kind of living in the States, and then I moved back to Malaysia for oh, excuse me. I moved back to Malaysia in the late millennium, so roughly around 2008, 2009. And then I started working in an advertising agency. And then there, I was reading a lot of what we call in the industry spec sheets, so, to send over to clients. So it's basically like scripts, and they got me to read everything to share it with the clients so that the clients can hear how it sounds like. And then a lot of clients are saying, hey, I really like her voice. I really like her read. Why didn't you just hire her as the talent? And that happened so often that I was like kind of booking jobs without really booking them. And so that kind of started the commercial side of things. And then in that same year, I followed a friend to an audition. I didn't really want to go for it, but I was like, oh, okay, I haven't done voice acting in a while. Let me follow my friend. And then I went for the audition. I got picked. Sadly, my friend didn't, but she's doing her own stuff now. Um, and then that was how I got started with animation. And yeah, it's been quite a while.
That's all still a wonderful journey there.
Hmm.
You never know what avenues life takes you in.
That is very, very true. I was very thankful for my first job for getting me started in the commercial and the corporate side of things, because I don't think I would have gotten my foot in it if I wasn't working in an ad agency.
Right.
Yeah.
Ah, gotta be thankful for small beginnings.
That is true. And your first job.
That is true. Um, okay, second question on the docket, and this is something that kind of was brought to my attention a little bit when I was just Twitter hopping. I like to do this. I don't know where to do research for questionnaires where I gotta stop people watching online. It's getting weird.
It's okay. I people watch all the time. I stalk people all the time. They just don't know it.
Beautiful. But this is a major question I've been asking a lot of people lately because I feel like it's something that's not asked a lot and it bothers me. But in the entire landscape of the industry for all sides, animation, gaming, commercial narration, all that sort of stuff, it's been changing a lot to where it's more open to different markets than it was before, back in the day when people just didn't really care about the talents and were just using them for like the bottom dollar, to where it's gotten the bigger reach to where I'm just trying to ask people now, where do you see the industry evolving from here, with how so many people are trying to say they want more casting towards people of a certain creed, a certain race, a certain walk of life that they don't know about, to get more authentic and whatnot?
Oh, so sorry, what's the question? As in, like, what's my opinion on
Yeah,
this
like
trend?
what's your opinion on like how things are gonna be evolving from here? Because when I was doing the whole stalking thing, I heard you and June talking about how it's being more looking into people that are of Asian descent to be more prolific and stuff. And I was like, that is true, because in a lot of stuff I've seen, it wasn't really a lot of people that were Asian and Asian roles like it was in like the last few years.
Mm. Oh, okay. Yes. Okay, I got it. Yeah, I think it's a really great time, and I guess I'm a little bit different from other people in the sense that I'm foreign. Even though I did live in the States for a couple of years, but essentially I do consider myself as a foreign talent with a foreign accent. So I think it's good that a lot of casting directors and production houses are casting people who can bring the authentic um, nuances of the characters that they created into the role itself. So, I mean, I just started doing online voice acting, I think this year, and I just started because I was stuck in my house for 10, 12 weeks. Because in Malaysia, we had a very, very, very strict lockdown. No one was allowed to work or do anything unless they were in an essential services line. And basically, we were just confined to our homes for a very long period of time. And
Ah,
so, yeah, it was kind of unfortunate. But it helped brought down the cases, so I think it was a good thing.
yeah.
Um, yeah, so I started seeing a lot of casting calls where they would say like, "Oh, I'm looking for a person of Asian descent. I'm looking for a person of Chinese descent or Thai," and I think it's good because then like I mean, two things. One is that the character themselves should be written in a way that reflects that ethnicity or that what's the word for it, like sexuality, yes, or gender, and having a talent that can bring that performance to the next level while keeping those nuances is really important, because we're trying to strive for authenticity even though we're all acting sometimes. So that's one. And number two, sometimes if you're not from that background, having a talent from that background would also kind of shortcut the process. Because right now I've been cast in a couple of productions where the writers ask me for sensitivity checks because I'm from the region, or B, I'm of that ethnicity, so I can check on certain things in the script or certain things about the character. And it's interesting because then you can co-create this character with the writers, and you can bring something even better, like than if you were to cast someone that was not from that background. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I mean, it's not to say that somebody not from that background would not be able to give you the same input, but chances are they probably won't. Like, they may be able to do the accent. I mean, they may have the voice, but sometimes it's more than that. Especially if you are working with a character where you're not familiar with that background, or that culture, or that ethnicity at all, or that language, especially. So I think it's interesting. It's very interesting times right now that we're living in, and I'm happy to be on this ride.
Yeah. I kind of put that into the repertoire for questions now because I've seen so many people throughout the whole, is this a good change, a bad change? And as a minority voice actor myself, I'm like, I feel like it's good, but I don't know how everyone else feels. It's nice to get clarification.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely feels it definitely is good. Especially if you really want to bring the most authentic reads and performances of that said character. I mean, assuming that the production and the producers and the writers really want to do that, because sometimes they could just write token diversity things, and
Yeah.
that's not good.
Yeah, that's why I think certain people are just like, is this for the best for like people that do token stuff? But that's another debate for another day. Um,
Yeah.
uh, I already know number three is a fanboy question because I was trying to draw Zook's head next to the question. Why am I like this?
It's okay. Zook has a lot of fans. You can join them.
Oh, I'm gonna cosplay as Zook as soon as the whole world is stopping going crazy.
Are you really? Oh
Yes.
gosh. You know I have a Mayday costume, right?
Oh my god. I did not know
Oh, you
this.
didn't. Oh, you did not know that? Yeah, I have a Mayday costume that the kind folks at Metronome make commissioned it for me last year. So I guess I know, actually, it's not even I guess. I know that I am the first Mayday cosplayer ever because we cosplayed Mayday last year in Level Up, a local gaming industry convention here in Malaysia.
Ooh.
Yes, I will send you some pictures.
Hey. But
Yes.
number three was since No Straight Roads was so well received. Were you this shocked to see it reach out to so many people to be as big a success as it was? Like that was the big question. I just wrote like a bunk bed junction versus Paramore for some reason. What is wrong with me? Uh,
That's not bad. I mean, when I think of Mayday, like, people have asked me, okay, if Mayday were to sing, what would she sound like? I always say that I think she would sound like Avril Lavigne mixed with Paramore, or at least that's how I would try to sing.
yeah. But still, did you expect it to blow up this much where people are just making like all this fan art that you see all over Twitter, the different reviews, the live streams that people are doing, even people bring you in for like. I recently saw that you were in a music cover video with a fan to do something with you and Steve Bones.
That's not a fan. That's the actual voice talent for Sayu.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah, I know. I don't think she's very quiet on Twitter. I don't think a lot of people knew until people pointed out, like, why do you like Sayu? And then someone said, because she is Sayu.
I feel so bad now.
It's okay. Just make sure that your buddy Nick edits this section out. Oh, unless you want to keep it in, that's fine too.
I guess just keep it in and just be like, Lion doesn't do all his research.
But yes, that was Nikki Simmons is the voice talent for Sayu, and she rescored the song, and she did her own version of the rock version of Sayu. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So yes, that wasn't really a fan. I guess, I don't know. It is definitely fan in the sense, like, it wasn't sanctioned. I mean, it wasn't paid for by Metronomic, but they shared it, so it definitely was sanctioned by them. So we're like, oh, phew, I'm not gonna get into trouble with copyright.
We're safe once again.
We're safe.
Wait, now I forgot what the question was.
Yes. About all the fame. Is it like how big this game was gonna blow up?
Right.
How we're dealing with it? Was that the question?
Yeah. I was just so distraught because I'm like, I didn't even know that my favorite boss in the game was that lady.
Okay, wait. Oh, okay. So that was the question, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I kind of had an inkling that it was kind of gonna, like, you always say, "Oh, I'm gonna get that one role that's gonna change my life or change my career," and then I was like, okay, I guess on paper, No Straight Roads is definitely gonna do that. I just didn't expect it to do that, and I'm a little bit overwhelmed. At first, I'm very used to it now. I mean, with every good thing, there's always bad things as well. So I love all the fan art from the fans. They're very nice and they're very generous. And I get like people tweeting me and Steven all the time saying how No Straight Roads changed their life, how Bunkbed Junction was there for them during their saddest times, and how it inspires them and loads of things like that. But then with every good thing, there's always bad things as well. And so, like, I have like a lot of comments about my performance in YouTube videos, in YouTube comments, everywhere. So, with every good thing, there's always the bad thing as well. So I think dealing with everything, because it's a whole package, right, has been a learning process for me. And something that I'm still exploring every day.
Yeah, the online culture is a savage. It's got its great merits, but even for like doing fan stuff, like when I did something for the Beastars fandom, I still get people complaining about me doing Melon from Beastars like they're gatekeepers, and I'm like, guys, I'm just doing this because I like the series as much as the actors that actually do this are doing this because they like the characters that they were allowed to cast, or that they were allowed to be casted in. Why do you have to make this such a big deal?
Yeah, and it doesn't help that there's multiple dubs of No Straight Roads. There's the official Japanese, French, and Spanish dub, I think. Yes. Correct. So No Straight Roads is available with full voice acting in 4 languages. So there's always people who are going to compare, and it becomes almost like a sub and dub kind of thing, like the English and the Japanese version. But just for the record, the English version is the official version, and the English version was done first, and everybody else is a dub. I don't know. It's like they assume that because the Japanese dub has like really A-lister seiyus involved with it, that it came out first. And I'm like, okay, no, it didn't come out first. They dubbed over us, okay? They dubbed over us. I don't know if I'll ever have that experience again in my entire life to say that, oh yeah, guys, Sakura Ayane dubbed over me, and not it was not the other way around.
That's always a beautiful feat. Although I still blame you and Steven for me going "ewa" at like random moments.
We are very glad to share our culture. Ewa.
Well, before I start just fanboying for like a bunch of people to see all over the internet, let's see. Question number 4. This is like one of the easy breezy questions I like to ask people as of the episode with Krishna Boyle.
I hope so.
Walk us
The
through
previous
like
question's kind of hard.
no. It's just an easy breezy one of walk us through a day in the life of Miss Su Ling Chan. Like, what do you like do away from the microphone, basically?
Oh, okay. I think people who follow my Twitter know that I'm absolutely gym mad and that I probably live in the gym. That's not an understatement. um, I train. I go to a MMA gym, so I train Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I also train a little bit of Muay Thai and a little bit of wrestling. So that is what I do with most of my time outside of what I do for work and doing this and work. So and I always post about it. So I literally train at the gym. Let me think. 7 sessions a week. Some days I have 2 sessions. Yeah. I know it's quite intense. If I have a tournament, I ramp it up to like 9. Like now it's COVID time, so obviously there's no tournaments. So I've kind of it's been an interesting year because I think this is like the least intense training year I've ever had. Well, aside from the fact that the gym keeps closing down half the time because of lockdowns, like just this week, we're not allowed to train because all the gyms are closed. So I'm like, I'm back in my home, doing, my own workouts. So, but yeah, that's generally what I do. I'm in the gym all the time, doing martial arts. I also really like cooking. So I guess aside from those 2 things, that's it. It takes enough of my life.
I feel like from just the cooking alone, you, me, and Kelsey could literally just get in the kitchen and make brunch and mimosas together, and it'll just be like 3 people around the table just talking about food. I don't know why I can picture that right now.
Oh my gosh, that is very, very, very true. I love cooking. I love mimosas too. We could like cook pancakes and have bacon. Oh, that sounds so wonderful.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, waffles. And if we're gonna spill over into brunch, we might as well have fried chicken with them.
Ooh.
I miss Roscoe's. I really, really do miss Roscoe's. There's a lot of things I miss from the States. Roscoe's is one of them.
Well, whenever you come over to visit, we're gonna make sure you get some good Roscoe's chicken and waffles.
Yeah. Wait, you're based in the East Coast, right? Or, yeah, I'm assuming.
Yep, I am based in the East Coast with all the other founding members of my team scattered across the United States.
Ah, okay. Because I was living in the West Coast. So for me, like, I love Roscoe's. I don't know if that's a nationwide thing. And then I really like In-N-Out. I'm like, oh, I miss In-N-Out. And I miss L&L.
In-N-Out does have good burgers, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, In-N-Out has really good burgers. And then I miss L&L, which was this, like, Hawaiian chain. Ah,
Ooh.
I really miss that. There's so many things I miss. And then I miss Chick-fil-A. Even though I know Chick-fil-A is not they don't really have a lot of branches in the West Coast, but I lived in Dallas for a while. So that's where I found my love for Chick-fil-A. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm just like going on about food.
It's
We
fine.
can have an entire podcast just me talking about food.
I might actually just make a podcast where you, me, and Kelsey are just having a foodie talk. I'm gonna probably do that.
Yes, I want in. I can talk about food for an entire hour or two. Just all about food.
All about food. I might actually make a tweet about that on my personal Twitter, where if y'all don't know it, it's fine. I'm gonna reveal that.
Oh, I need to follow. I'm gonna follow.
You do. I'm just not saying it on this recording.
Oh, I do? I follow you? I don't know. I don't even know which one it is. Oh, I'm gonna have to find out now. But then I follow a lot of people too. Which one is this? I'm gonna go to Twitter right now and figure out. No, I'm just kidding. Concentrate on the interview, Su Ling.
So aside from that, and now a new podcast I might be doing with my two new friends that I've made thanks to this show. Um,
Yay!
Woo! Question number 5. What advice could you give to people trying to get into either the animation or the gaming side of voice acting? Because every avenue is different. Everyone has different shades of advice. But what is your key advice that you give to newbies?
Ooh, that is. Oh, excuse me. Ooh, that's a really interesting question because I'm also still trying to get into it myself. I mean, I'm just very lucky that in Malaysia we have a very budding animation and video, and I guess now a video game scene regionally. So I don't know how to give advice because I'm still struggling. I'll just admit it very candidly on this podcast. I'm still struggling myself to make it out of the region and try to book more international jobs. But I guess the advice that I hear from everyone. Okay, let me think. Advice that's from me, right? That other people don't say. Okay, yeah. You know what has been working for me at least? That because I've gotten cast in a couple of animation and video game roles since I started going online this year, and I gripe about it all the time. But you know what? It's a niche. So I usually get cast for Asian accented roles. Actually, everything that I've been cast in so far has been an Asian accent or a Malaysian accent. So somewhere along those lines. And, I guess it's about finding what you're good at and what people in the world can't offer. So it's like, what are you good at that is special to you or unique to you, and just offer that up to people. And hopefully somebody wants it. Actually, you know what? I think people do want it. I mean, I would never imagine that people would want a Malaysian accent ever. I mean, we make fun of the Malaysian accent all the time in our own country, but I guess times are changing. So I think the one advice I would give to new and even current voice actors is to really know what you can offer to the world that's unique to you, and then just roll with it. So you know how every audition has 2 takes, right?
Yep.
So do one take that is what the directors want, and then do the second take that's unique to you. And you'd be surprised. You'd be really, really surprised by how many directors or how many people, like how many directors would actually sit up and say, "Oh, I never knew that this character could be this interpreted in such a manner." And then, yeah. So, for example, there was a video game that I'm involved in right now. Initially, I have like a Jinx um Harley Quinn Mayday-ish kind of voice in my demo reel that's done with like a very neutral American accent. And so when I was cast for this role, they initially wanted me to do that voice. And then they said, "Oh, okay, what else can you do?" And then I was thinking like, "Oh, okay, maybe we could do this character with a Malaysian accent if you're open to it." And then I said that if you ever watch Star Trek Discovery, Michelle Yeoh has like the most commercial and most famous version of the Malaysian accent. And then they said, "Yes, we do watch Star Trek Discovery, and we never thought that this character could go there." And so from a high pitched crazy American sounding kind of character, now it's a low pitched Asian badass Malaysian accented character, which was really cool for me because the directors were open to this. Because if they weren't, yeah, I know. So like, I totally changed the character for them in a way that they never expected it to go. So yes, I guess I tend to ramble. I hope I didn't ramble that answer at all.
Oh
But
no,
yes,
you're fine. You're fine.
please edit it to make it more coherent. But yes, that would be what I would advise to people, is to really know what you can offer and offer that as a second take, because you never know what might happen, and always be proud of it.
That is some lovely advice. That is
Yeah.
honestly some very lovely advice. Uh, I had like a random song stuck in my head for like some odd reason.
What song is it?
I don't know. It was just like it went from piano to then all of a sudden like 80s funk. And I was just like, I have no idea what this is, but sounds very entrancing.
What's 80s funk?
80s funk would be like Sly and the Family Stones, I think, or Earth, Wind and Fire ish.
Oh, okay, yes, I get it.
I have
Earth,
no
Wind.
idea where that came from in my mind, but I'm like, I have no idea. This is just jamming. I need to see this now. Um, next question. As
Hmm.
okay, we still are good on time. We're good on time.
Yeah, we're good on time.
Um, oh, this is another easy breezy question, I suppose. What would you say is your big highlight of a positive of 2020? This is something that Nick and I were talking about ourselves, where he was just like, "You should ask like at least one person this question. What's the harm?" I'm like, "Okay, screw it. I'll just write it down."
Yeah, I think 2020 has been a very interesting year for a lot of people, but for me, it was actually quite positive. I mean, yeah, there were a lot of negatives, but there were quite a lot of positives. Like me talking to you right now. This
No.
would have never happened if my country didn't enter into a lockdown and I exploded onto Twitter. Because before this, I didn't even had a Twitter account, and I didn't even really connect with other voice actors or got involved with the online voice acting community at all. And then I got stuck in my home for like 12 weeks, and I was bored. I was so bored because, you can't work if you can't go to the studios. Like, what can you do, right?
Right.
So I was like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna watch a lot of K-drama. And I was like, okay, I gotta do something more productive. What can I do? And then that's how I got online, and I met so many wonderful people, such as yourself and loads of other people on Twitter. And I'm booking jobs out of my country. So I'm like, ooh, okay. So for me, 2020 has been good in that respect. So
Okay.
actually, yeah. So actually, yeah, it has been pretty good for me.
That's all good.
Yep.
I'm just noticing I put like a lot of easy breezy. The thing is, for you guys hearing this, I like to ask a lot of probing questions for like when the time is right. But for like last episode, this episode, and the upcoming episode, we're trying to get lined up. I made an agreement with Nick to be more of a laid back host and not ask too many probing questions because a lot of people they just are like deers caught in headlights like oh god um pass.
I'm curious to hear what your probing questions are, or maybe not.
I get super in depth out of nowhere. It's kind of just a weird issue with me. Like I remember I asked one person that was a prime minister about actually it was I think six, no it wasn't six, it was I think around like 13 years ago I asked the prime minister about some stuff involving his policies and whatnot, and I actually saw him just drenching in sweat on like me interrupting him for like follow-up questions of probing, and Nick remembered those days. He was like, maybe don't be that in depth. Like these are entertainers. They're not people that need to answer to like their countrymen and whatnot. It's like, but I need to know. It's like, no, you need to just relax, just chill, just calm down, just calm down.
Well, to be fair, that dude was a prime minister, so he should have been way more informed with his policies. And if he wasn't, I'd be really worried. Like, why did you vote this person in then if he doesn't know his policies or what he's supposed to do for the country? See?
I don't know. I think the guy left his position like I think 4 months after that interview. Not because of me, but because of some scandal. But
See. So that guy was sus to begin with. So don't feel bad.
it's fine, guys. He was just caught in electrical. It's all good. um, but back to the questiones. This is not even a me question. I just let Nick get like one question in. I let him get one question he writes himself into these where he wanted me to ask like what is your go-to genre of music? Like that's his big question.
Oh, okay. My go-to genre of music. Okay, so story time, people. Okay, in order to answer that question, I have to answer what music means to me first, and
Okay.
then the genre of music makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, music is an enhancer of whatever I'm doing at the moment. So it's not like I listen to music. I'm not one of those people where I sit down and then I play a song and then I just listen to it. For me, music is an enabler sometimes, is an enhancer, it's a mood changer to whatever I'm doing at the moment. So to answer that question, since we've already established that I'm at the gym all the time, the genre of music that I keep going back to is very fast paced music so that it helps me work out and it helps me spar at the gym. So I love 80s rock. Like I super love 80s rock. Old school rock. I should know half these names. Hold on, let me open my playlist. Let me see what is in my 80s, like in my let's see, my Spotify playlist. Okay, most listened to. Okay, so like I alternate between people like AC/DC, Bon Jovi, who do I have here? Scorpions, Guns N' Roses, Van Halen, Deep Purple, lots of Metallica, Ozzy Osbourne, Yeah, so those kind of bands, because they're good. They're really good to work out too. Okay, let me see. And wow, I've played this. This is like my number one playlist for 2020. Okay, my number two playlist is also 90s rock, because that's also really good to work out with. So like Fall Out Boy, All American Rejects, Panic at the Disco, My Chemical Romance, Green Day. So those are the kind of genres of music that I always fall back to. Um, but I guess if I wasn't working out all the time, I do really like like really slow, mellow stuff. Like Def Cat for Cutie, um, Hosier. Is that how you pronounce his name? Yeah, I guess. Hosier, the band.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's how you pronounce the
yeah,
name.
yeah. Old school Coldplay. Not a big fan of new school Coldplay. Like those. It's really acoustic. Ryan Adams. Like that's. I guess that's the music that I play when I just want to chill out to something. When I'm doing something else, and I just want something in the background, but I really like it. Yeah. Like I love Def Cap for Cuties. Millennia. Is it in the Millennium? Like Transatlanticism, that album and the album after that was really like I played it like so many times this year. Yeah. So I know it's a really like long answer to the question, but yes, those are the music genres that I always fall back to. And sometimes I do have EDM too, because EDM is good to gym with, but sometimes it's too much because the beat is too much, and sometimes it gets a little crazy at the gym to play EDM there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I hope that was a satisfactory answer.
Oh, for me it was. I'm just waiting for when Nick is editing this, he'd be like, I don't know what to say. I'm gonna just get all of the music, and it's like, sir, just take care of your son first, and then edit this video. Uh, I love the man, but my God. Okay, before we get into the last two questions, I like to do this random moment in the show because I've witnessed doing this for interview stuff since I was around, I would say, 14, with trying to ask a bunch of probing questions, but I'm also studying other people in journalism where no one ever gets to ask the interviewer anything, and everyone has an interesting story. So whenever I have a guest here, I like to flip the tables. I like to also make it dramatic of being like I'm flipping the actual table to their direction with a microphone and be like, you can ask me some questions.
Oh, yay! I would love to, actually. I was gonna ask you a whole bunch of questions um, after the interview, but since I'm allowed to ask now, I'm like, yay! So, I guess my number one question is that I hear a southern accent from you coming out once in a while. Were you ever in the South?
I was mostly raised in the South, starting when I was 9, when I came to the States, all the way until I was around
Where
19.
were you from before the States?
Eurasia.
Eurasia. Where is Eurasia? Like Kazakhstan? No
It's
stuff?
it's
Or
like
Turkey? What's
um
considered Eurasia?
well, for me, I never like to say the country because every time it's just like, doesn't your president ride on like a horse shirtless in the middle of a snow field in the middle of the parlor? It's like, yes, he did. He also used to go into the forest with his buddies for a drunken fest and even attack the wildlife, but you never hear about that in the news, along with the
Oh.
war crimes that he did. But still,
Oh, okay, then yeah, it should be like one of the stans. Uh this sounds very familiar. Um which stan country? This sounds really familiar. Oh, are we guessing now?
oh no, I'm just gonna come out and say it's Russia.
Russia. Oh, okay. I was thinking, okay, it's definitely either Russia or I don't know. The way you made it sound, it could also be one of the stans. One of the stans is ruled by a dictator. Which stan country is that? I don't even know whether calling it a stan country is offensive. I'm really sorry.
It's fine. To me, everyone's kind of a tyrant and a criminal, but
Oh, but that's cool. Oh, and then you were in the South for a while. That's like you sound like bits of it come out once in a while.
yeah, I can't escape it. It just comes out.
I love it though. I was in Dallas for like almost a year, so it was interesting.
Yeah, that's when you get full-blown country.
Yeah, and I was like, oh y'all, I do miss the y'alls. If that's what I remember from my time there. Okay. Okay, so my next question is why did you set up the Writer's Cove? Like what's the inspiration behind it?
So, before it's like story time, and it's probably gonna be boring story for people that have heard the story before, but it's fine. It's my show. I can tell the story how many times I want to. After leaving being a professional voice actor at the age of 15, after a bad thing with my agent at the time, I didn't really feel like doing anything for like any person in voice acting. I would just be doing freelance stuff here and there to help out some friends, but it wouldn't be anything serious. But then all of a sudden I started meeting some good friends of mine that became the founding members of the studio with me, of Panda, Wolf, of Baker, and Unicorn, where we were in this one show for like a hot minute where I didn't like the script, but I liked my friends enough to really put myself into it and start writing my own stuff up on a serious note for other shows I've created, like speed drawing mixed with voice acting, because I kind of figured no one's ever made that kind of show before. And then leading into other stuff from a manga that I literally wrote and illustrated myself at the age of 14, of I would say 30 volumes at the minimum that I made with...
Whoa, that's a lot.
Yeah, with my
30 volumes.
Yeah. With my comic book loving friend of mine, where we wrote it all up for me and my friends to just look into and expand the lore on, and then I took that stuff from my own intellectual properties to make the shows that we make today. And then it's all thanks to a VA of Jordan Rudolph that made me come back to voice acting officially. To then seeing what she did for me, I translated that into seeing all of the other people I've met along the way, of like Lance McDonald, Chase Beck.
Oh, yes.
Chris Wilson, like so many great people I could
I know
talk
all
about.
these people.
Yeah. And seeing how many people are just trying to strive for all that big stuff to be on that upper echelon that I have been in before, I wanted to do something where instead of being in the forefront for fame, I wanted to be the one that drives others to get up where they want to be the top tier actors, to be in all of these things for Hollywood, for Texas, for Bollywood, for any place in the world. So I went to the founding members and we're like, guys, let's make a studio where we just make these stories and find actors that want to bring it to life, not to make ourselves the big famous people, but to make them achieve their goals of being the top tier actors of where they're striving to be. And Writer's Cove was born.
Oh, that's a very interesting and very awesome and very altruistic origin story. I mean, I really like things that give back to the community and make the community better, and I think that that's definitely the intention and what you guys are doing with Writer's Cove so far.
We're trying our best.
Yay! I mean, yeah, I know how hard it is to get into the to voice acting and to get roles. I mean, I've just been very, very, very lucky, and I know that not everyone has the same opportunities that I have. So yeah, I mean, good job in trying to give actors an opportunity. So what was the inspiration behind the podcast? Because this is separate from the production, the audio plays, right?
Yeah. I don't really know what brought this out. I was just having some in-house stuff with our actors like Kat Dans, Charlie Rowan, Fatal Oro, and a handful of other people. And I was just sitting there and I was thinking back to the days when I did podcasts with my siblings about 3, 4 years ago. And I kind of just miss talking to people to get insight when I used to interview different actors and political figures. But I wanted to do it to where I could chat with people and they could feel at home with these questions instead of just like you sit in a chair, you're just having someone read from a cue card and then they're just staring off at you in the green room before just saying they'll see you on set. I wanted to do something where it's a nice feel to be in the show where you don't have to worry about being an actor 24/7. You can just be a person and just chat up a storm.
Okay, okay. It's like coffee sessions.
Yeah.
Casual coffee sessions that you hope when people listen they'll take something new and different.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And then I guess my other question is what's your plan for Writer's Cove eventually? Because that's like the starting point. But what is the end goal with it?
My main end goal right now is just to build this up after we release a couple of big projects we're trying to release in about 5 years, maybe 7 years, to kind of let the economy get back in order globally so that we could do some bigger projects I already had on Ducket. Thanks, 2020. And
Yeah.
after we make those big things, the video game I'm trying to get made in time for like a demo in 2028. I just want to build up enough of a business so I can pass it on to my daughters that I've adopted over the years to just be like, I built this up for you guys so you don't have to worry about where you're going to get money, how you're going to find places to live, if you and your families, if you want to have families some days, are going to make ends meet. I'm building up that for them in the whole end goal personally. Every founder has like a different end goal, but that's always been my main end goal, for my kids to have this as their lasting legacy where they don't have to worry about the next day, the next month, the next year. Just they can be secure.
That's crazy, amazing, and ambitious. Like, wow, a dad like that. Your daughters are very lucky. It's like something that you want to build for them. And then hopefully they take over and then they'll take over the business as well.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. So I guess that's a big long-term plan. Like, what kind of IPs are you planning to commercialize under Writer's Cove? Like what genre? I mean, right now it's audio dramas, but I guess you probably branch into other stuff as and when budget allows.
Honestly, I just want to tackle everything except the romance genre. I've said this before and I'll say it again. I just don't like romance. It's an odd genre to me, just like, and then he stood there, his hair just fluttering into the wind as his rippling muscles and his pecs were just tightly gripped by his blouse. It's like, what am I reading here? What is this?
It's okay. I don't like romance either. I like it in a story, but I don't like it when it's just romance. I'm like, oh, what is this? Just move on. I want the story.
Just give me the story.
Exactly.
But I think the main IP I want to do soon-ish is sort of like a mythological epic that I really have been retooling every now and again after our pilot dropped recently, where since the pilot's already out, I can already say it's basically what would happen if the Olympic gods were gone and Gaia had her Gigantomathi children take over all of the underworld and the overworld to just be, this is their domain, and all of the Greek heroes have to find the gods to restore them to power.
Ooh, that's interesting. So who is Gaia's children? I don't remember.
They kind of vary for the Titans and the Giants, where the Titans are like Kronos and Rhea, Oceanus, and technically Aphrodite, because he castrated his dad and from sea foam came out.
Whoa, okay.
Greek is weird, man.
It is. I was traumatized studying Greek mythology in college, and I went to an art school, so we studied the art version of it and the paintings and the sculptures, and it is traumatizing. Some of the stories are like, whoa, what's going on?
Yeah,
it's like
so much wrong. But yeah, it's the Titans, and then afterwards it was the Giants, because Zeus was Zeus, and then Gaia was like, Zeus, you're kind of a douche, so I'm gonna have these giants kind of wreck your whole mess. It's like, oh yeah, great grandma, actually I'm just your grandma. Yeah, grandma, just try it, and all that mess happened.
Yeah, you know what? Zeus is like the epitome of a fuckboy.
He is.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but I'll say the FUCC version.
Oh no, you can say it. We don't censor curse here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's like the classical version of a typical fuckboy. And then it's like grandma's like, okay, my grandson I need to rein him in.
Yeah.
But it is very interesting when you started saying things, when you started talking about it, I was like, oh, it's like Hades, which by the way is like my newest jam. I really do like the game.
It's a beautiful game.
It is, right? And I love how diverse the gods are. Like, I think one of the inspirations behind Hades in terms of how they design how the gods look like was that the Greeks at that time were an amalgamation of people from all over the world. There were Asians, there were Eurasians, there were white people, there were people that they got from the African continent by way of the upper part of Africa. So it was like a hodgepodge of people. So why would the gods look like just one version? And so like Hermes is Asian, I think. Meg is like pseudo Indianish inspired with her, isn't Meg? The blue tone lady. So there's like a lot of diversity in how they designed the gods because they wanted to reflect all the people in the Greek Empire at that time.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh, I'm always like, I'm all down for that diversity. But this is cool. So are you planning to make it into an animation, a game, or an audio drama?
I might just have the first season be a Spotify exclusive just to test the waters, where afterwards I'm actually in the middle of trying to learn how to use Blender in a proper capacity.
Oh, okay. I've heard Blender, but I have no idea what it is.
It's like a 3D animated tool, but I'm not much for 3D design. I'm a traditional artist by trade, so it's gonna be a big learning curve for me.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So after the first season is like done and people respond to it nicely, we'll probably move forward to have it be either 3D animated or just 2D animated with a couple of artists that we're amassing for ourselves and release it wherever.
That's so cool. I'm super excited. You already sold me with Greek stuff. Plus, it's not the typical Greek gods, but it's Gaia's children. And so, goodbye, Greek gods. Have fun. So how do they get their powers back? So I guess some Greek folk need to like start worshiping them,
All I gotta say is y'all gotta wait until
like
2022 to understand like how they're gonna get the gods back in power. All I'm gonna say is that just wait till 2022 for when we're just getting the series in
ah,
full production.
no. No. Okay, fine. I'll just be patient. Okay, I think that's all the questions that I have off the top of my head. Oh, maybe one more. What's your favorite thing to cook or eat since we're on the question of culinary stuff? And we established that we all love food.
That is true. That is true. But I don't know. I like to cook a lot of stuff, but the one thing I'd like to cook for people is surf and turf gumbo.
Ooh. I do miss gumbo. Oh, I know it is not like it's like a chain, but I do miss papados. Oh, and I miss etouffee. And gumbo. Oh, and Cajun food. And I mean, yeah, gumbo is like it's considered Cajun food, right?
It's
I don't know.
Cajun slash Haitian food.
Food. Okay. Because I remember eating gumbo at Papados. Oh, I love Papados. Sorry, it just brought like this nostalgic moment in me, and I was like, oh, I don't know when's the last time I ate it. I think 15 years ago, easily. Okay, maybe not.
Su
Maybe
Ling,
10
it's
years ago.
fine. We'll have more food memories in the foodie podcast between you, me, and Kelsey. We're good.
Yes. Okay. But yeah. Oh, so is Haitian and Cajun food like something that you really like?
I just like cooking food in general. If I don't know the recipe, I'm gonna try my best until I can perfect it, and then just keep it in my mental cookbook.
Oh, nice. You're one of those like what is it? Like, you wing the moment kind of thing. Or no, you research a lot about it before you start cooking, or you're just like, oh, okay, I got a basic recipe and I'm just gonna see what happens.
Yay. All the above.
All the above. Well, I'm totally like I gotta research like 1,000 things before I start cooking.
Which is always valid.
Yeah, that's true. Especially if something's really technical, then you're like, oh, I don't really want to mess this up. Like, a beef brisket or something, smoked beef brisket. Ah, which I also miss. Ah, beef brisket.
Oh god, we
Yeah.
got into like a food days.
If you ever have an interview, I mean, like every person who has an interview with me, we always go into food because that's me. I just love food.
I don't blame you. I'm a huge foodie. I can't escape food.
What's the best thing that you ever like? What's your one dish that okay? If you're gonna go into Master Chef, what would be that one dish that you would cook to get onto Master Chef?
The one dish I would cook to get on a MasterChef. It's this one recipe that I learned from my buddy Julian's abuela, where
Yeah.
she only gave us the cooking ingredients of 3 hot dogs, half of a chicken leg,
Half a chicken leg, okay.
and then just gave us a bunch of different spices and told us that we had to make something with all those ingredients and not waste a single material, which is very hard.
Ooh, okay. And what's the dish like?
So the dish is basically like I slice open the half of a chicken leg, and then I just first try to decorate it with the spices on top before I then just try to neatly put in parts of the hot dog inside before I just try to marinate it, I guess, in just like the hot dog juices for the time being to let it go into the the stove for that section, while also just trying to turn the remaining hot dog bits into makeshift ratatouille.
Ooh. Okay, so that would be like your go-to dish, this makeshift ratatouille.
Yeah, makeshift ratatouille with stuffed chicken with hot dog bits.
That sounds good. What
It,
spices are you gonna put in it?
I
Like, is it
think
gonna be tomato base or?
I think I might use a bit of rosemary with this one if I were to recreate it. Rosemary, oregano, and maybe some Cajun spice.
Ooh, I like Cajun spice. I have it. The what is it? It's in a green. It's like a green. I'm gonna Google it right now. It's like It's got a chef, like a cartoon chef on it, and then the packaging is green.
I know what you're talking about. I just can't remember.
Yes, right. That's like the de facto Cajun spice. The last time I went to the States, I bought a ton of it and I brought it back with me back to Malaysia, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna use it to cook. Yes, and I do visit the States quite often. In fact, actually, I was supposed to visit this year had COVID not struck the country. But you know what? It's fine because, like, we wouldn't be talking right now if I went to the States, because then I wouldn't have gone onto Twitter. So, always try to see the good side in everything.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So is this I don't have any more questions. I'm done with all the questions.
Okay. I probably had a few more, but I then noticed the time. I was like, I don't want to push it because I don't want to.
No, it's okay. I think I have time for at least 2 more questions. I have at least 10 minutes.
I can do at least the last one because I don't want to be pushing it too much. I'm a very empathetic person, so I don't want to be like, let me keep this person for a lot longer. It's like no. Just...
No, I'm fine.
Okay. The last question I'm going to ask on my own end, because the other ones I'm just looking at, I'm just like I can't even read like the last word. What was I doing? Oh, right, I was trying to fight a 10-10 again.
Oh, 10-10.
Lordy. So the final question I'm basically going to be asking you is just it's like a random question that my old associates from NBC would be asking everyone in the break room, and I figured I would ask it in this interview instead of others, where if you could imagine your perfect dream role, what would it be and why?
Oh, that's okay. Let me my perfect dream role and why. Oh, I don't know. I don't know the answer to this question. Okay. So for me, I guess it's about a dream role. Okay, one would be to be working with a studio that I really love, which for old time's sakes, it's BioWare. I love anything done by BioWare. Well, except the last 2, Anthem and Mass Effect Andromeda were not very good. But I'm like, okay, I'm still a BioWare fangirl, so I'm like, okay. You know, I would love to work for a studio that I really respect. Like, I really love BioWare. I really love Telltale games, especially with I think Wolf Among Us is coming out finally with the new Telltale games, because I know the old Telltale games went bankrupt. That's one. So I guess the dream role would be to be involved with a studio like that. And number 2, a dream role would be to be in a cast like castmates with people that I just made friends with this year, you know? Yeah, that would be a dream role for me to I know it's like, oh, but you're not thinking about the character or anything. Me, I've done quite a lot in my career thus far for somebody who's living on this side of the world. Um and I don't really have anything that I want to play right now because I've explored a lot. So for me, it's always about the studio and about who my castmates are. I would really, really, really love to be castmates with, like, Kelsey herself. Maybe one day. Um, Kira Buckland was very, very kind to me when I first came on board, and she even heard my stuff in No Straight Roads, and she was very supportive. So one day I would love to be on something with her as a castmate. Some of my friends that I met, like the first few people that I interacted with, would be people like, oh, I guess I'm name dropping now. Like, hey guys, hey folks. People like June, who's a voice moto. People like Miles Langerman, Milo Reed, Kat Protano. I don't know. Oh, I'm butchering all their names. Oh, I would love to be castmates with any one of these people. And that would be like a dream for me. So I guess it's kind of achievable. Oh, and Eddie, my other buddy, Eddie. Yeah, like it would be a dream of mine. So, I guess it's a very different answer, huh?
I mean, it's a great answer in my opinion, because every other one they're just like, I want to be in a show as a talking snake. I'm like, Kevin, what are you talking about? It's like, yeah, I want to be a talking snake in a Disney movie. I'm like, Kevin, what are you talking about? You're an extra in Law and Order for a reason. You don't have range. It's like, shut up! It's like, no, I'm just being truthful, bruh.
But yeah, yeah, I haven't. I used to think that, like, very early and mid in my career, I used to think of it from characters, and now voice acting is a job. So honestly, you want to think of your employees and your colleagues. If you think of it like that, like, if you're really, like, if you think of voice acting from a professional, absolute professional sense, and if you think of it like work, what's the most important thing for you? It would be, okay, aside from the remuneration and the benefits, but it would be like who employs you and who you're working with, right? So I guess that's the rationale behind my answer.
And it's a great answer in my opinion.
Yeah. And I guess it's quite easily achievable. Well, aside from working for BioWare or Telltale Games.
I don't know.
So,
I could see you in a Telltale game.
oh, I would love to be in a Telltale game. I don't know what the new Telltale studio is like though, but I'm excited for Among Us too. I mean, I love Wolf Among Us. It was such a good game.
Yeah, and it was from some very great comics, except for the
That's
ending.
true. That is true. I read the comics. And yes, the ending was a bit sus, but the journey it took me on was awesome. And at least, oh, okay, I don't want to spoil anybody who hasn't read Fables, but it was awesome. It was just awesome. Like,
Yeah. But
yeah.
I'm sorry, y'all. We can't do like a super long one because I kept my
Yeah.
word to a Su Ling about not taking up too much of her time. I would love to gush more with her because I feel like I found a new friend. Like I would high five her
Right.
right now, but all I can do is yeah.
Yeah. Hello, friend. Hello, new friend.
Hello.
Mm-hmm.
But if you guys want to hear more of Su Ling stuff, her socials are in the description below for us on YouTube. And if you guys are hearing this on Spotify, I got nothing. Just follow her on her Twitter that you can find on her YouTube page, and buy No Straight Roads, which is in stores for a lot of different platforms everywhere. Check
Where,
out
yeah.
some of the stuff that she's done on Malaysian TV. And if you hear her in some other stuff, you hit us up on our socials like that. And yeah, if you guys also want to just keep up to date what we're doing, you guys already know the whole deal. All of our stuff's in the description below for our YouTube, where our Patreon and our Ko-Fis are there if you want to help us give our cast and crew some big old paychecks. And you guys can check out some stuff where we riff on some films every now and again on our Twitch channel every Friday. So I have been the Lion Founder, and my guest today has been the lovely Su Ling Chan.
Thank you so much for having me. It was really fun.
We can do this anytime. You just let us know.
I definitely want to do the food one.
Yeah. But
Yes.
I will see you guys in the next episode.
Okay.